right. Hello. So I think this would be a nice, beautiful session for any grade 12 learner that is just sort of like on a rampage of revision. Right, guys, I'm actually going to be using this document here, the Northern Cape Department of Education Mathematics Paper 1 Last Push, 12 papers for provinces 2024. All right, I think I don't know for other provinces, but for the Eastern Cape, the trial exam timetable is already out. So for grade 12 learners already, we know that the grade 12s will be writing on the 5th of September here in the Eastern Cape. On the 5th of September, trial exam maths paper 1 will be underway. It will be going, So I think I'm going to just work on this document. I'm going to work through it, all right? Just an exposure to the document in and of itself. There is like algebra questions here, paper 1. There's number pattern questions here. There's functions, there's finance, there's calculus, and obviously there is probability. So there's different, different questions, different papers, different sections. So I'll be going through this paper and going through some of the questions that are here. So today, I'll focus primarily on algebra. Just want to remind us as grade 12 learners, we may be grade 12 learners that are writing end of this year, maybe only, but it would be nice to just kind of get a reminder of some of the work that is obviously supposed to be covered in a typical paper 1 sort of like paper setup where algebra is concerned. So we'll be looking at that today, all right? And maybe tomorrow we'll look at number patterns, the day after we'll look at functions, the day after we'll look at finance, the day after we'll look at calculus, and then the day after we'll look at probability. So if you want to sort of like maybe be in this series with me and sort of like take it one step at a time, then you're more than welcome to join my live sessions and we can take it one step at a time and just go through the paper 1 aspects, of the potential trial exam questions that could be asked in a potential trial exam paper. Okay, so I hope you guys are down in it for that. So let's look at the very first question we have there. So obviously in question 1, we know, guys, that we always have a solve for x question, which is very important to note. Solve for x question seems to be very pertinent. Look at this Eastern Cape question. Look at it, 1.1.1. We have this kind of solve for x question. This is Eastern Cape, all right? A particular year that this question came. If you look at the Free State trial exam paper as well, look at that. You see, look at the similarities, guys. Look at the similarities. 1.1.1 has that question. 1.1.1 has that question, which is kind of similar. It's a similar type of question where you have two brackets that are factors. They are both equated to 0. And also this one as well. Two brackets, factors of each equated to 0. Okay, so if we look at the mark allocation, it's 2 marks. If we look at the mark allocation there, it's also a 2-mark question. So I'm going to do the Eastern Cape, and then I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to do the Free State, and then we can take it from there. So if we look at the first question, solve for x, we have 2x minus 4 into x minus 1 is equal to 0. So how do we navigate solving for x in a question like this where there's two brackets and it's equated to 0, guys? What do we do? So obviously we have two brackets, and these two brackets, recorded as it is right now, and obviously will be uploaded in the session. And guys, this is for, like I said, this is like us getting onto revision mode for the grade 12s, right? Because grade 12s are writing their trial exams mid-September, already in August, guys. Next month, guys, it's game time. So if you think about it, Eastern Cape, for instance, kids know that in their timetable the 5th of September, they'll be writing maths paper 1. So you need to be doing something every single day to sort of like build up to that time when you do write. So I'm hoping that all of us can sort of like build up to that. If you're a grade 12 learner, you are joining into the session, please guys, get your grade 12 timetable for your trial exams. Every province by now should have a drafted timetable for the upcoming trial exam. What you need to then do is, after getting that timetable, you need to draft up a study schedule for yourself for every day. Like literally from tomorrow onwards, you need to have a working drafted time schedule of how you are going to make sure that all 7 or 8 of your subjects, or 9 of your subjects if you're doing 9 subjects, how you're going to make sure that every day you are doing something that will build up towards you writing the trial exam papers. Because if I look at the Eastern Cape timetable, for instance, it's congested and there's too many exams that are going to be written very closely to each other. So that's why I'm then suggesting that you need to do a day-by-day build-up, right? More than 80% of the work that you need to be studying for the trial exam is already with you because you've done it. And so what you need to do is you need to focus on that and make sure that that will actually be assisting you to making sure that you change around the situation. Maybe in June you didn't do so well, and what you want to do is you want to actually capitalize on the exams this time around and make sure you do as well as you possibly can for the September trial exam. And you can turn around the situation, guys. It's very much possible. So what I'm going to start doing, like I said here in these live sessions, which I'll be running, I think, late and just gonna do some paper 1 related questions. So right now I'm focusing solely on algebra. I'm not going to be focusing on any other topic but algebra. Then another day I'll focus on another topic, number patterns. Then another day I'll focus on functions. All right, and so it will go. So I'll be doing it like that, and I hope you guys will be able to gauge some things there and there. So like I said, we'll look at a typical question here. So for x, 2x minus 4 into x minus 1 is equal to 0. So what do we do, guys, when we are solving a question of this nature? We want to get the values of x. There are 2 brackets. They are equated to 0. So I hope you guys know that when we have 2 factor brackets that are already opened up, equated to 0, that means we can apply something that we refer to as the 0 factor law. Right, which means you can take the 2x minus 4 equated to 0, or you can say x minus 1 is equal to 0. This is only done, guys, if we have a what? A product of factors. In other words, brackets mean multiply. This bracket is 2x minus 4 and this bracket is x minus 1. They are multiplied to each other, and on the other side we have an equal to 0. So that then allows us to take 2x minus 4 equated to 0 and x minus 1 equated to 0. Then we can solve these 2 independent linear equations separately, guys, separately. So then that means 2x is equal to 4, whereas x is equal to 1. So what we just did here is we transposed the minus 1, so x is equal to 1. This side we have 2x is equal to 4. We've transposed the minus 4. In other words, we took the minus 4 over to the right hand side and it becomes positive 4. Then we can apply what we call the additive inverse, which means we divide both sides by the coefficient. In other words, x has this number which is 2. We call this number the coefficient. We divide the x by 2 on the left and on the right, and that leaves us with an answer of x is equal to 2. So our 2 answers here that we have is x is equal to 1, right? And x is equal to 2. And that's that, all right? Okay, so I hope you guys, once again, if we go back to the question says solve for x. We have a product of factors, 2x minus 4 into x minus 1. So we have equal to 0 on the other side, which means we can apply a law called the 0 factor law. This law applies whenever we have a product of factors and there's a 0 number on the right hand side. It only applies if we have 0 on the right hand side. We can take 2x minus 4 equated to 0, and then, or we can say x minus 1 is equal to 0. Then what we do after that is we solve these linear equations by making sure that we transpose the minus 4, it becomes positive 4. Then we divide by the coefficient of x, which is 2, both sides. And then we get an answer of x is equal to 2 for this linear equation. Taking x minus 1, we do the same thing. We transpose the minus 1, it becomes positive 1 on the right-hand side. And then we have 1 isolated on the right-hand side, so the answer becomes x is equal to 1. So our two answers are x is equal to 2 or x is equal to 1. And what you notice is that when you take this 2 and substitute it into this bracket, 2 times 2, what do you get? You get 4. What's 4 minus 4? That gives you 0. And what is 0 times anything? 0 times anything will give you back the 0. So that means this x is equal to 2 satisfies the equation. Okay. Same thing with this one. If we take the 1 and we substitute it in the place of x, what's 1 minus 1? It gives you 0. What's 0 times this entire bracket? It gives you 0. So that means this x is equal to 1 also satisfies the equation. So that's why these two answers are correct. Okay. Now I'm going to serve you the free state question. All right, because if you look at the free state trial exam question paper, past paper, we have 7 minus x into 10 plus x is equal to 0. And we need to solve for what? For x. So I did the Eastern Cape for you guys. Now you can do the free state question 1.1 for me. What's 7 minus x into 10 plus x is equal to 0? If you'd like to actually talk to me about it, please, you are more than welcome to invite yourself. You can extend an invite. I will accept your invite, and then you can talk me through as to how do I solve this particular question. I've done this one for you. All right, so a very similar question to that one is this one. Anyone who would like to just you can come on as a guest, please. Please come on, guys. Let's do the maths together. Anyone wants to lead me through this question? 7 minus x into 10 plus x is equal to 0. How do we solve for x for this particular question? Yes, Emitla, you can. Definitely you can. You wanna come on, please. Please do. Please do. That would be nice. Okay, Selwyn, I see you there. Right, awesome. Emil?
Okay, Sam, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well, very well.
Okay, but I will, like, 7 minus x, then 10 plus x. So, like, 10 minus x is equal to 0, ne? Or 10 plus x is equal to 0.
Okay, 7 minus x is equal to 0, or 10 plus x is equal to 0. Okay. Okay, step number 1, I love.
Then 7 is equal to x.
7 is equal to x, 100%.
Then 10 equals, x is equal to negative 10.
X is equal to negative 10.
Yes. Okay. Then you check which one is correct. Yeah.
Okay. You check. So when we check, what do you find?
Okay, wait, sir.
Okay. Very well done. Emil did a very good job. Okay. I'm sure you guys can see he took the factor here, 7 minus x is equal to 0. He transposed the variable in this case because he could see that the number is already positive. He transposed the variable minus x to give him positive x on the right hand side. So we have x is equal to 7 as one of our answers, which is very good from Emihle. And then 10 plus x is equal to 0. What he did is he transposed the 10, which is positive, which becomes negative 10 on the right hand side. So you have two answers, x is equal to 7 or x is equal to negative 10. And he just wanted to check if those answers satisfy the equation. So yeah.
Okay, they are both correct, sir.
Epic. They definitely should both be correct, because yeah, they warrant that. So thank you. That was actually very well done, Emihle. Do you wanna take us through another one?
Which one, sir? The next question.
I'm gonna write it down just now. So here's another one for you. Just another one. So we have 2x squared minus 3 into x plus 2 is equal to 4. So slightly different from these first two, but I wanted to see if you could help us out there. And then there's this provision which they write. They say correct to 2 decimal places. So what does that usually say to you?
Which formula is that? The formula that goes like a plus, wait, b plus minus, then the square root b squared minus 4ac.
Okay. Okay, I think you are remembering some formula.
Yes, but I don't know how.
In the comment section there, N says quadratic formula. Mrs. Him says use quadratic formula. Dimpo says so as well. Ugege says so as well. So the formula is called the quadratic formula.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and what's nice is that formula, Moss, when you guys are writing, grade 12, you have that formula in the formula sheet. So you don't have a problem with utilizing the formula because it's in the formula sheet. So it's a matter of having the formula sheet readily available so that you can see it and you can use it. But before we can get there, all right, so I like the fact that when you see this, it makes you think about the quadratic formula, and that's great. I'm happy about that, and I hope we can keep it like that. But what do we need to first do here before we can use that formula? Thank you, Mrs. Him, for the gifts. I really appreciate it.
Calculate them and make it to the simplest form.
Beautiful. So we need to make sure that the equation is in the simplest form. Or in other words, we call that form the standard form. I like that. Mrs. Him just said it there. Mrs. Him says standard form. So lead me along then. Let's get it to the standard form, Emil.
Okay. So I first calculated the negative 3. Okay. Can I tell you what I did, sir?
Please do.
2x squared minus 3x
minus 3x
minus 6.
Minus 6. Okay. So what you did is you distributed this negative 3 into the x to get negative 3x, and then you distributed the negative 3 to the plus 2 to get negative 6. Very good. Thank you.
Then minus 4.
Minus 4. So you transposed the 4 and you wrote it this side so that it became negative 4 because it's on the other side of the equal sign. Okay.
Then 2x squared minus 3x.
2x squared minus 3x.
Minus 10.
Minus 10. Thank you so much. That's very well done, Emihle. That's brilliant. So this here is that form that was mentioned in the comment section. We call this the standard form. The form ax squared plus bx plus c. We refer to this as the standard form. All right, nice. Then
we write the standard, the formula.
Okay, the formula. So the quadratic formula. What is the Can you remember now, recall completely what the quadratic formula says?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's negative b
Okay, negative b
plus or minus,
plus minus
then the square root
the square root
b squared
b squared.
minus 4ac.
Okay.
Then under, like it's a fraction, yeah. Then 2a.
2a.
Yeah. On the left, we can say x is equal to that formula, sir. That
Epic. Thank you so much for that. I was actually waiting for that. You know what's interesting, Emily? I am glad that you actually said x is equal to, because many times students they write this part, like literally they write this part alone and they don't write the x is equal to. All right, and it's incomplete when there's that x is equal to is not there. Because remember, this formula is supposed to help us solve for what? For
x.
this guy. Exactly. So we need to have him there. So it's very important. And in the formula sheet, the formula is like this. So thank you very much for actually adding that part. I really appreciate it. All right. I'm listening.
So x is equals to, okay, a, okay, wait some, a is
Okay.
2,
A is equal to
positive 2,
positive 2. Thank you.
and b is negative 3,
B is negative 3. Yeah.
and c is negative 10.
C is negative 10. Beautiful. All right. Listening.
So negative in a bracket plus 2,
Negative in the bracket plus 2. Yes.
plus or minus,
Plus minus.
and negative 3, a bracket,
Bracket.
negative 3, in a
Negative
curly
3.
bracket, squared,
Okay,
minus
yes.
4,
Minus 4.
in a bracket, and a 2,
Yes.
in another bracket, negative 10,
Okay.
and under it's 2, then a bracket 2,
2 and 2. Yebo.
then under it's 3 plus or minus. Also, b here, you said negative 2, it's negative 3.
B is
No, left.
here.
Yes, sir. It's negative 3 in that bracket.
Oh, and negative 3. Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you to those in the comment section. You could see there, like, people were like, wait, how is it 2? How is the first B 2? But yeah, okay, so we've actually clarified that. So it becomes very important that when we've identified A, B, and C, we make sure that we substitute what we've actually identified, because sometimes the error is there sometimes because we make the very mistake that we've found ourselves making. So yeah, let's learn from it. Let's allow it to be something that we don't do when we are actually writing, even though okay, in this live session, oopsie, we did it. Okay. Right then.
X is equals to, so the negative plus, multiplied by negative, it's positive. So it's 3 plus minus,
Thank you. 3 plus minus. Yeah.
then 9 plus 8,
9 plus 80.
then under its form, 2 times 2 is 4.
Over 4. Definitely.
Then x is equals to 3 plus, then 89, 3 plus or minus 89 form.
Okay, over 4.
So x is equals to 3, 1, 1.
Okay, so you said x is equal to 3
3,
comma 1 1.
1, 1. Yes. Or x is equals to -1, comma 6, 1.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. And are we agreeing there in the comment section that these are the two answers that we get after having punched into the calculator? Remember, the question was saying correct to two decimal places. So when we do correct to two decimal places, is it indeed the answers that we get 3,11 and -1,61? Seems like people in the comment section, they actually do concur. All right. Now let's just check here. If we look at all these steps that we actually did, I know a lot of people are probably like saying, oh, you could have just done that, you could have stopped there, you could have not written that step. I can imagine that a lot of people are saying a lot of things, or little people are screaming. Luandle is saying, I'm lost, how did he get those answers? All right. Do you want to answer that question immediately? Luandle is like lost completely.
Can I say it in English or Xhosa?
Yeah, sure. Please, you can say it in the language you are most comfortable, Emil.
Okay, but is Lwandle comfortable in Xhosa?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Lwandle mfuneka like uyazi le formula ye-quadratic formula. Like uyazi by phofu, not by heart, but izawuba khona kwi-formula sheet name. But xa kukuthi i-question is ubana isithingana question like correcting two decimal decimal numbers ne. So funeka uyazi ubana kusetyenziswa le formula le ye-quadratic because ayizokwazi ufactorizeka le nto yabo. So funeka usebenzise le quadratic. So funeka uyazi ke ukubana kufuna u-A no-B no-C, and u-A iba yile no-x squared. Xa ile no-x qha then ibe ngu-B, then le ine-number ke izawuba ngu-C. So uzifake kulaa formula ke le plote kuloo B no-A no-C qha.
So I hope Ulwandle is with us here, because Emil did a very good job of making sure that first and foremost, before he uses that formula, he gets the equation into standard form. And this standard form we are talking about is this ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Yes, Mrs. Sim, you can definitely add. So this ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0 is what we call the standard form. So what we then do is we first and foremost make sure we actually simplify this equation, all right, by making sure that we get it into this ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0 form. So if you look at this here, we have 2x squared minus 3, then in brackets we have x plus 2, we have equal to 4 on the right hand side. So what he did initially, Emil, is he distributed, or in other words, he multiplied this -3 with the x to get -3x, then the -3 with the plus 2 to get -6. Then the 4 here, which is a constant term, he transposed it to the left so that he can get -4. Then here you check, what do we have any like terms? 2x squared, definitely not a like term to any of the terms. -3x, definitely not a like term to any of the terms. But -6 and -4 give you -10. You have equal to 0 on the right. So this is our standard form. It is in the ax squared plus bx plus cx is equal to 0 form. If you look at where we have the x squared, the a is before the x squared. The x here term has the b is before the x term, and then c is our constant number, all right, and then equal to 0. So if I want to identify the a, b, and c in the standard form, we can see that our a value will be 2, our b value will be -3, and then our c value will be -10. Then all we do is that after identifying these 1, 2, 3 values, since we cannot factorize this equation, we simply use the quadratic formula. And the reason why it is usually just safe to use the quadratic formula in this question is because from the statement itself, we are told correct to two decimal places. So that means we are going to have to actually utilize the calculator so that we can get that into decimal form. And I like what Mrs. Aim is saying there in the comment section, that when you identify your A, your B, and your C, you must take note that your A value, all right, you also assume the sign of the A value. So it's positive here. That's why we write A is positive 2. Okay. Then the B, it's negative 3. Then the C is negative 10. Then all you do is you write down the quadratic formula. X is equal to minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. It's in the quadratic formula. It's in the formula sheet, sorry. Then you substitute the b value in the place of b. So there's already a negative there. You substitute b. It's also negative 3. So when you substitute, we use what? We use brackets. Okay. Plus minus. We substitute b. We substitute negative 3 in the place of b. We put it in brackets, then there's a square there, so we make sure the square is there, followed by negative, followed by 4, followed by a, which is positive 2, followed by c, which is negative 10. Okay, over what? Over 2 times the a is 2. All right, then after all is said and done, negative times the negative 3 gives you positive 3, plus minus the square root of negative 3 squared is 9, and then minus 4 times 2 minus 10 gives you positive 80 over what? Over 4. So in most cases, guys, you can at this point just punch all that you have in your calculator, and it can lead you straight to the answer. All right, and you make sure you round off your answer to the specified decimal place that they indicated at the beginning of the question itself, so that you do not lose any of the marks. So it's very important. The question can be 4 to 5 marks. It will depend on the mark allocation from the examiner, but specifically as indicated in this paper that I have before me, it was actually 4 marks. All right. And I think the 4 marks would be the standard form, the substitution into the quadratic formula, and then your 2 answers. All right. So once again, I repeat: the standard form, the substitution into the quadratic formula, obviously the right quadratic formula, of course, and then your 2 correct answers, okay, rounded off to the appropriate decimal place. Okay, so I hope that is clear for one and for all. All right, if there's any other additions, subtractions, multiplications, or divisions that people would like to actually suggest, please, by all means. All right, you are more than welcome to come on and add on those if they are in. Okay, maybe one for the masses. Maybe let's see if people can actually do this. I'm going to give just 5 minutes for, actually let's give 4 minutes for people to attempt this one. Okay, so in your own space, please guys, here's another to attempt just in your own space there. All right, let me... Okay, I think Avumile is here. Avumile.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Shoot, I see in the comment section you said, can I join the panel and ask a question?
Yes, I wanted to know what degrees don't need maths that are still valuable?
What degrees
Don't need maths and are still valuable?
don't need maths? And when you say maths, you mean pure maths specifically?
Yes.
But those degrees are valuable?
Yes.
Oh wow, what a question. That question has like literally snuck up. You sneaking in a question here that I must say. I think if there's anyone in the comment section or anyone that's actually listening to this question that Avumile is asking, please guys, you know, me, I don't comment on things that I know I have no expertise on. So Avumile, I personally don't have the answer to your question, right? Though it is a very valuable question. Very
Okay.
valuable, actually. Very valuable question. Are you
Okay.
doing pure maths?
I did pure maths when I was still in high school.
Oh, okay. Okay. And
Yeah, and I didn't get a good mark.
I see. Okay. And so what I mean, like, so what are you thinking, and or what have you been thinking lately?
I rewrote in May, so I'm waiting for my results. I don't know if they come out.
Okay. Okay. So you rewrote in May. And yeah, how was it? Because I saw the papers in May.
It was difficult, but I tried my best.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, May
Yeah.
papers were, yeah, they were, yo, wow. I myself was like, yo,
Yeah.
the May papers were not kind at all in actual fact. Like I personally just thought from a student's perspective, looking at those papers, I was like, yo, they are not kind. They are not kind at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I mean, are you feeling like do you feel like after writing those papers, do you feel
Confident.
confident? Okay.
I don't know how to feel anymore, but I just hope that the marks are okay.
Okay. And what were you planning to then do after like those results have come back? Like any specific degree you were thinking about pursuing?
Um, no, I wanted to study next year, but I just don't want to make my hopes too high.
Okay. Okay. I hear you. I hear you. It says correct to two decimal places. Sorry. Just answering someone's question in the comment section.
So are you like an actual teacher?
Yes, that I am. That I am.
Oh, okay.
That I am. And specifically maths teacher.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, I think that 5 minutes is left, guys. So if like there's anyone who is done in the comment section who would like to actually give it a shot, we'd really help. We'll welcome your shot, especially if you are en route in preparation for like the trial exams. Guys, like I said earlier on, trial exams are just gonna sneak up on all of you like nobody's business. So we need to make sure that we are preparing like well in time. So that's why, like for instance, I'm doing a live like this because I want to kind of like get people to wake up from their state of sleep, if it is you are sleeping in your mind, because yeah, trial exams will be here in no time. Eastern Cape kids are writing on the 5th of September already, like their paper one, maths paper one. So there's no time to really chill too much. In less than 2 months, 58 days to be specific, you guys will be writing, So yeah. Emile,
Yes, sir.
it seems like my brother, you are the only one who wants to be invited up and actually talk through
Oh,
these things.
I didn't know. Must I exit the call or?
No. I want you to take me through this one, and then maybe you can exit after that, if
I
you
don't
don't
mind
have a
actually.
problem. Let's do this last one, my brother.
Okay. The my first step was 6x squared, cause 3 times 2 is 6 and x times x is squared. So it's 6x squared plus 3x.
Epic. 6x squared plus
3x
okay plus 3x. Okay, very good.
equals to
And
1
okay, equal to 1. So
or
that
minus
1.
1 or
Okay,
minus.
minus 1.
Okay. The quadratic formula, yeah, equals to 0. Sorry. The quadratic formula. Okay, a is equal to 6. A is equal to 6
So my A is 6,
and b is positive 3
B is positive 3,
and c is negative 3.
C is
Negative 1.
okay,
Sorry.
negative 1. Thank you.
and x is equal to negative b plus or minus. So is it a must to write the formula?
Is it a must that you write the formula?
Yes.
Well, for the purpose of this live and just the teaching itself, you might find that we not only have grade 12s that are actually listening in here, but grade 11s. So for teaching purposes, we'll write it. We know that in the exam, you can go straight ahead and actually, as a grade 12 learner, you can write the substitution into the formula. Okay. Yeah, so we'll just do it for the purpose of the live so that people know what we are doing and where it's coming from. Because some people might be like, Aibo, and then what happened? So just for those people. Okay.
Yes, sir. So x is equals to negative 3.
Okay, negative 3.
Plus or minus the square root 3, the bracket 3 squared
Yeah.
minus 4 multiplied by 6 times negative 1 over 2 multiplied by 6.
Okay.
X is equals to negative 3 plus or minus 9 plus 24.
Okay, what's 9 plus 24? Let's just write the entire number. 9 plus 24 gives us
33 over 12.
Over 12. Epic. Now for the answers directly.
3 plus x is equals to 0, 2, 3.
Okay, 0,23.
Or x is equals to negative 0,73.
Okay. 0,23 and negative 0,73. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you so very much, Emihle. I really appreciate you coming in to the live and helping me out with this quadratic formula.
Are you always
Yeah.
Are you always live? Like every day you are live doing that?
Are you always live every day? Look, Emihle, I'm trying to, because today is the first of many lives that I've done for grade 12, you know. I'm trying to get some consistency going because, like I said, for the Eastern Cape kids, it's 58 days until they write maths paper 1. I don't know how that makes anybody else feel who's actually in grade 12. So I'm like trying to get some sort of like build up to that paper 1 exam early.
Thank you, sir.
You know,
I'm
most
also
people are still on holiday. So what I'll start doing, or what I'm starting to do today, is try and have these live sessions, like maybe starting now, like at 11 o'clock, and I'll see how far we can go. So I'm gonna do algebra today only, not anything else, but just algebra. Maybe tomorrow I'll do number patterns. That depends on whether, you know. So I'm just gonna do one topic or one piece at a time. We know that question 1 is usually the algebra type questions, with exponents and all of that stuff. So we're going to do those types of questions: inequalities, nature of roots, simultaneous equations, the works. And then we'll take it up one step at a time. So hopefully it gets people, practicing as well in their own spaces. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
How do I exit?
Oh, okay. Let me help you out there. Let me help you out. Okay, there we go. All right. Thank you so much. That was very pleasant, young man. I really love it. Very love that sort of interaction. Mrs. Him, thank you so much. You are very, very kind with the gifts there. Okay, guys, we're going to move on to the next ring of questions that when it comes to algebra, all right? And these are the types of questions that I'm talking about, the following. the paper that I have before me, then followed up with these kinds of questions. X squared plus 4x minus 21 less than or equal to 0. Here we are. What do we call these? Again, what do we call them? Do we remember? Do you remember what these are called? Right, I hope we do. Money is up. Inequalities. Yes, Keke, definitely. Inequalities. All right. Quadratic in nature. The inequalities, they are. All right. So how do we approach quadratic inequality? Okay. Quadratic inequalities. Yes, Miss Him, that's the quadratic inequalities. Funny enough, so in the Eastern Cape paper that I actually have before me, this question was 3 marks. You know, three marks only. All right. So when we do inequalities, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and actually take us through here. Thank you, Prince. I see your comment there, Prince. Prince says we need to open brackets. So in other words, Olwetu is a very rude guy. Olwetu is so rude, it's not even funny. Yo. My goodness. Hey, some people are bored out of their skull. Yeah, Olwetu. Wow. Lots of love to you, Olwetu. Okay, so x squared plus 4x minus 21. We can factorize this, but be very careful, guys. Very, very careful when you factorize. We open 2 brackets, of course. Then when we factorize, we try and find the factors of 21. These factors, by virtue of this 21 being negative, will have different signs. A constant term that is negative implies that your signs in the bracket will be different. Okay? That's what it implies. Okay? So that's very important. So when the negative sign is with the constant term, it means that the signs will be different. And this sign of the variable, the middle term, okay, the x term, implies that the highest factor of 21 is going to have a positive sign. Remember, this means the constant term with the negative means the signs are going to be different. But since the signs are going to be different, this positive sign implies that the highest factor of 21 is going to have a positive sign. So now let's look at the factors of 21. Okay, factors of 21. When we add these factors together, they must give us positive 4. Okay, so as has been said in the comment section, we have 7 and 3. The highest factor is going to be positive and the lowest one is going to be negative, because 7 times 3, 7 times negative 3 gives you negative 21. What 7 minus 3 gives you this positive 4. So when you add them, you need to get the coefficient of the middle term. When you multiply them, you need to get the constant term. And this is very important. When you multiply, you get the constant term. When you add them, you get the coefficient of the middle term. All right. Then, of course, x squared, we get x squared by saying x times x. So this here is the factorization of this what? Of this trinomial that is quadratic in nature. Okay, so factorize. That's step 1. What is step 2? After we've factorized, okay, obviously standard form was important first. We need to make sure the equation, the inequality is in standard form, which it was already. Okay, and so we do not change the inequality sign. No. And remember, we don't change the inequality sign unless We would if we had an equation and the coefficient of the variable with the highest exponent, if it was negative, and we had divided the whole expression by negative, then our inequality sign would have changed. Okay, does that make sense? So it only changes this inequality sign when we have division by a negative, which is a result of the highest exponential term having a negative sign. That's when there would be a change in the inequality sign. So in this situation, we just factorized, the inequality sign is still remaining the same. Okay. Step number 2, we write down what we refer to as the critical values. Critical values. Critical values, guys, are just like the x values that you would get, your solution that you would get if you were solving for x. So critical values are just that. Okay. So our critical values here, what would be the x value which would make this bracket 0? It would be x is equal to -7. Okay. And then what is the x value that would make this bracket 0? It would be x is equal to 3. These are our critical values. All right. Okay. Another word for critical values or solutions of x if the equation was 0, it intercepts. Okay, this is very important. Okay, the roots, if you will, of the equation. So these are synonymous words that mean critical values as well, and this is very important. So the critical value that we get is equal to -7 or x is equal to 3. Guys, this is not the solution. This will help us in being able to get to the solution. Then yes, we can do the following. We can draw a line, write our smallest critical value, and then write our biggest critical value. All right. Now, since this expression x squared plus 4x minus 21 is a quadratic expression, it resembles a quadratic function parabola, which has a concave up shape, or in other words, a smiley face shape, if you want to call it that. This critical value, -7, this critical value, +3. That is basically the critical values. We plug them in where the x-intercepts would be. Does that make sense? All right. Now, we want to now write down the answer. All right. Emihle, do we get the mark for drawing the parabola? All right. Examiners tend to not have the mark for drawing the parabola, but you need to have the diagram there because it helps you. It helps you in being able to locate your answer. So please have your diagram written there or drawn there, because depending on the examiner's mark allocation, sometimes the mark allocation may be due to the graph or the particular sketch that you have. So you must then have that drawn. So please just draw it. Please draw it because it helps you navigate and get to the answer that you're supposed to actually identify. Now, I want to help us understand what this inequality sign actually means. Okay. All right, please take note. Listen to me and listen to me well. X plus 7 into x minus 3 is less than or equal to 0. There's meaning behind this as it relates also to the function. So when we say less than 0, okay, that means for the function below the x-axis, okay, below the x-axis. I want to help you understand the meaning. So when we say less than 0, we mean below the x-axis. In other words, this is where y is negative. Okay, and I'm sure if you know your Cartesian plane well, right, your Cartesian plane has y values that are positive above the x-axis. Okay, this is your x-axis, and this would be called your y-axis. All y values here are positive, whereas all y values below the x-axis are actually negative. All right, this is referring to the value of y. Okay, so when we say less than 0, we mean below the x-axis. That's what less than 0 means. All right, and I also want to just explain what greater than 0 then would mean. Greater than 0 would mean this is where y is positive. And then my question is, where is y positive, guys? Y is positive above the x-axis. Okay, so I repeat, what does less than 0 mean? It means where y is negative. Where is y negative? Y is negative below the x-axis. Right? That's very important, guys. Below the x-axis, that's where y is negative. So if we are looking for less than 0, all right, we are looking for below the x-axis. I just want to put emphasis on just less than 0, what less than 0 means alone. Okay, I'm going to get to equal, but let's just look at less than 0 alone. Less than 0 means where y is negative. It also then obviously refers to below the x-axis. What does greater than 0 mean? Greater than 0 means where y is positive. That means above the x-axis. Okay, guys, I hope you are with me there. Then the minute you put the equal sign in, all right, this equal sign then means as well we are looking on the x-axis. We are looking exactly on the x-axis. We are looking on the x-axis, all right, and we are looking at the values that are on the x-axis. In other words, the critical value. We include the critical value. That's what we mean by equal to 0. We're looking at on the x-axis, which means the critical value is included there. Again, if we put an equal there, we mean on the x-axis. We include the critical value there. All right. So let's come here, guys, and look at the answer. Where do we see the answer for this particular function? So if we're saying here, I will offense, don't worry, I will. We have a concave up function. -7 is the critical value, and 3. We've identified the critical values. Now we are going to check where is this below, because less than, remember what did I say less than means? Less than means below the x-axis, where y is negative. So where is this function below the x-axis? And I'm going to shade the region where the function is below the x-axis. Can you see, guys, where the function is below the x-axis? It's in that region. That's where the function is below the x-axis. Now, what are the x values that show me the function being below the x-axis? Guys, this is the answer. It's where x is greater than -7. I repeat, where x is greater than, you see, my Pac-Man mouth is opened towards the x. So that means where x is greater than -7, but less than 3. All right. So this is where the function is below. I'm just looking at less than alone. All right. Where is the function below the x-axis? It's where x is greater than -7, but less than 3. Okay, so in between, in other words, the function is below the x-axis between -7 and 3. Okay, but remember, we are also looking at equal. In other words, we are looking on the x-axis. Where is it on the x-axis? So it is on the axis at -3, which means we include -3, and it is on the x-axis at 3, which means we include +3. So this, guys, here is my full package answer. All right, and this full package answer, that's where my 2 marks out of the 3 come from. Okay, you could write the answer in this way, or you could say x is an element, and you write square brackets 7, that's negative, to 3 square brackets. Okay, you could write the answer in this notation as well. You will get your 2 marks. You will get your additional 2 marks. So there is 2 ways in which you could write your answer. You could write it in inequality form, or you could write it in interval notation. Okay. Okay, that's fine if you don't understand the sketching. But like I said, the importance of understanding the sketching will help you when you have to do functions, because some students, they struggle with functions simply because they don't understand the interpretation of this sort of like wording here. So it becomes important for you guys to understand what this less than means when it relates to the parabola function. So it would be nice if you do get to a place when you do, all right? Because it helps a lot, okay? Yes, so bahle, very true. I've also grown to love interval notation, to be honest, when it comes to less than 0, all right? Yeah, your answer, Emile, is 100% correct, okay? If you wrote your answer as x is greater than or equal to -7 but less than or equal to 3, that's 100% fine. Okay, but like I said to you, it would be nice if you actually have the sketch in there as well. All right, okay, it would be very nice if you do. All right, now that is just one of the many examples, right, that basically are there for these types of questions. But I want you guys to please understand what less than means. Like I said, less than for your inequality simply means below the x-axis. So we are always looking at what's happening here, and from where to where is this happening. All right, so obviously below the x-axis, it's only happening between the 2 critical values. Okay, and so that's why we say x is an element of square brackets from -7 to 3 square brackets, because we are also looking at on the x-axis, which means we include -7 and include -3. But remember, if the equal was not there and it was just less than alone, we would not have the equal signs underneath these symbols of less than here. We would have just the less than signs alone. And here in this answer, we wouldn't have closed brackets, we would have open brackets, because equal means we include. But if there's no equal sign, it means we do not include the critical values, right? Okay. Okay, so let's look at another question for yourselves. Okay, here's another one. Okay, here's another one. Solve the inequality. Okay. right. Anyone who wants to come on and join me so that we can go through this one together? Right, at least I've kind of like given you an example, unless there are questions pertaining to the example I did with everyone. Okay, because remember, guys, an inequality question will inevitably come out in an exam. You are bound to have an inequality question, whether you like it or not. Quadratic inequalities will be there, no doubt. One question at least. Yes, you can. Money is up. Please come up. Mrs. Him, you can say that again. I wish I could have that comment that you've just posted there on loudspeaker, because it is so true. Maths is as much about attitude than anything else. If the attitude stinks, oh my goodness, count me out. Count me out. If the attitude is one that is saying there is hope and you can work towards it, then I count me in. I would rather work with a student that has a semblance of hope than to work with a student that doesn't at all. Aye. All right, money is up. You are up.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm well, sir. And how are you?
I'm good, sir. I wish I could throw my camera because I already have the equation for it.
Already. Nah, it's cool. You just lead me. I think it will be also just for the benefit of those that are watching. So I'm sorry, man, that I can't. Take me through.
Okay, so first you take the 6 to the other side. So it says negative x squared minus 5x minus 6 is less than 0.
Is what?
Less than 0 or bigger than 0. No, I meant bigger than, yeah.
Yeah, please. Yo.
And then you are going to take the negative out.
Okay.
So be x squared plus 5x plus 6.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if so then it will be x plus 1 and x minus 6, will it not?
So are you factorizing this?
Yes, you have to factorize
The negative sign is still intact?
Yes, but we will divide it by negative to switch
Okay.
the sign.
All right. So let me factorize. So the factorization is?
Is it not x minus 1 and then x plus 6?
Okay, let me just open it up. We know x and x are there. So you are saying it is?
Is it not x plus 1 and x plus 6? X plus 5?
X plus 1 and then?
I actually don't know. I just need help with this one.
Okay. All right. So we were looking for the factors of 6. When we
Yes.
multiply them, we get 6. When we add them, we get 2.
Yeah, so
There
it's
is 6 and 1. There is 3 and 2. Which ones
okay,
fly?
yes. So it's 2 and 3. Yes.
Okay. So 2 and 3.
Cool, got it.
Epic
Stuff. And then we are going to divide it by our negative. So we
Divide
can
by
swap our signs.
X plus 2 into x plus 3, then?
The sign will change.
Okay, sign change less than 0.
Then we write our absolute values. So x is minus 2 or x is minus 3.
Yeah, bo.
And then we are going to put it on our number line.
Neat. So we have, which one do I put first and which one do I put last?
So you're going to put negative 2 and then negative 3 behind that.
Okay, negative 2, negative 3. Like this, you mean?
No, I meant like negative 2 like on the right and then negative 3 on the left. So
okay.
You have to, if you get what I'm saying.
Epic. There we have it. Negative 3, negative 2.
Yes.
Okay.
So now, if we go back to our question, we see our sign, they're asking for inequalities that are less than 0. So we look at our negative region, which is below the x-axis.
Epic, our negative region. I like the way you say that. We look at our negative region, which is below. So once again, we are dealing with this guy. Okay, and then,
Yes.
beloved
Now
answer.
we can go to our is it our interval notation. Since
Okay, sure.
we know it's going to be between -3 and -2. So say x is element, but then it's not included. So we do round brackets from -3 to -2, round brackets.
Buddy, that was close to my eyes. Yeah, that was like absolute, like, money is definitely up.
No, so I just have a passion for math.
Yeah, man, too much passion. Yeah, too much passion. So
I actually wrote my further studies exam yesterday. So I'm like, wow.
This guy. So you do further studies as well?
Yes.
Ish, the privileged ones. Ish, the blessed ones. Yeah, that you are absolutely blessed, because further studies is actually quite. I think it's quite neat. So you're in grade 12 then? Is that correct?
I'm actually in grade 10.
You're in grade 10.
Yeah.
Oh my soul. So you did. Oh, so you're doing. Are you doing accelerated maths?
Yes, we have been doing inequalities in further studies.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing matrices, inequalities, all that nice stuff.
Hectic. But that's nice, man. That's really nice. You're extremely blessed. I know how cool that must be. And what's your intention and plan after high school? Where are we off to?
To be honest,
What are you gonna do with your life?
I'm probably gonna do something in IT, some information technology.
Okay. All right. Nah, neat. Happy days. No, you keep it up. You keep it up. It seems
Can
like you
I leave you with the question that I like you to do?
You wanna leave me with a question?
Yes, sir.
No, sure. Go ahead. Leave the question.
Okay, so it's gonna be a fraction with our inequalities, okay? So
Okay.
it's first right at the top in brackets, x squared plus 4.
X squared plus 4.
In brackets.
Or in brackets, okay.
Yeah, and then next to that, you can say x squared minus 4.
X squared minus 4.
And then under that, you can say x minus 3.
X minus 3.
And then you're gonna do less than 0.
Less than 0.
No, sorry, bigger than, sorry. I read it.
Oh, okay, like greater than.
This was one of the questions that we got yesterday. I'd like to see you try.
And did you do it?
Yes, I think I did it.
And do you feel good about it?
The only thing I didn't account for is that you don't account for absolute values in the denominator. That's what I didn't account for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a unreal here as well, just to be nice, you know.
And there's a restriction, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So thank you so much for having me up.
Happy days. Thank you so much, man.
Lovely man. So if you could just kick me out, that'd be yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey. Oh, all right. That's a nice question there. I think I will just leave it as a challenge question. Okay. I'm not gonna address it in my live. I'm not gonna do it. But I'll leave it as a nice challenge question, and maybe tomorrow when I do the live session, we'll see if there's anyone that can actually figure out or lead us through. But yeah, let's keep it. Let's keep it within the turf of what we actually driving at, which is looking at these basic concepts and making sure that we fine with them. Let's look at one other question. 6x squared plus 7x. Good night, money up. Thank you. 6x squared plus 7x plus 2 is what? Is greater than or equal to 0. Wait. There was a comment there at the top that said, if I said minus 2, would I be wrong? That's a good question. Okay, would you be wrong if you wrote your answer in this way? Okay, and to be honest, you would not be wrong. You would be absolutely right, because remember, Money is Up just wrote his answer in what? In interval notation, but we can write our answer as x is what? Greater than what? Than -3 or less than -2. So this is another way in which we can write the answer. Okay, so please guys, don't it's just that like I said, I think for most people, and even me, only recently I've actually discovered that I like writing answers for inequalities in interval notation more than inequality form. But I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Okay, you will get the marks if you left your answer this way. So for instance, Mrs. Him? Mrs. Him said, would she be wrong if she wrote the answer this way? If you look at your answer, Miss Him, and this is very important, if you look at your answer, you still said x is greater than -3, right? It's greater than -3, okay? And in this situation, less than -2, yeah. So it's still correct. This is still right. It's still fine. But just a word of advice that whenever you write your inequalities, just make sure you always write your smallest number on the left and then your biggest number on the right. Okay, so teachers will mark both answers correctly, guys. Okay, both answers are correct. Teachers are supposed to be able to say, if they see the answer written like this, they should give you the marks. Or if they see your answer written in interval notation, they should be able to still give you the what? The mark. Okay. Yeah. So that's why I was saying, I explained that academic tips that you do make sure that you write your inequality from smallest to biggest. But the thing is, this is actually correct if you read it, because this is still, like I said, x is greater than -3 but less than -2. So this is correct in and of itself. The inequality is correct. Okay, yeah, but like I said, and as I emphasized to Mrs. Him, you need to make sure that you write your smallest number and then your biggest number. And I'm sure you can see that both of these inequalities, they are actually looking in the right direction. You see, both of them. I mean, whenever you're going to write in between, those both need to be looking in that direction. They absolutely have to, given that the smallest number is there and the biggest number is there. Star Christie, sir, please repeat again. What do you want me to repeat again, Star Christie? Okay, right, let's look at this question. Anyone who wants to come on and join in and help me unpack this one, okay, this inequality question. Yeah, remember, Star Christie, I post my videos onto the YouTube channel, so it's just that I just feel like I'll be repeating the same thing over and over again. Please do check out the YouTube channel when I post the video. All right, because I'm just trying to avoid repeating the same thing over and over again. Okay, so this was the question, that was the challenge question that my last guest posted up. And then all I want us to do now is do this one. This one. Okay, remember guys, I'm looking at I can try do the challenge question with you. You can try. Okay, so let's look at this one. 6x squared plus 7x plus 2. Okay, remember guys, I'm on a mission here to try and like get people in the game when it comes to these inequalities, and not necessarily the game challenge question. The game challenge question, like I said, I will leave for us to actually, like I said in the live initially, this question we will definitely address when we go on the live again tomorrow. So I'm going to leave it as a challenge question, and I'm going to leave it just as that. So if you want to screen grab it, give it give it a hit, please go ahead and do so. And then tomorrow when I go on live, this will be the first question we will address and we'll check out. All right. Okay, so I'm sticking to the plan. What, 6x squared plus 7x plus 2 greater than or equal to 0? Can we can someone lead me through this one specifically? So if academic tips is, yes, I do. I post them onto the channel. Yes. Okay. 6x squared plus 7x plus 2. Anyone wants to come on and give this one a crack? Okay, let's get academic tips. Seems like academic tips wants to tips it in.
Okay, can you be able to hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you very well. Very well.
Okay, that's nice. What I am actually gonna do first is to try and find the critical values.
Okay.
And finding the critical values, I mean, I'll solve for x. And for an easy way, I can just use a quadratic equation just to find my points very well. And from there,
Sure.
I'll plot my graph. And from plotting my graph, understanding that a is greater than 0, so I mean it's going to be a happy face.
Yeah.
And they say greater or equals to. Just by looking at it, I'm thinking we're not going to use the interval thing, having x's in between of this and this, but it's just
Yes.
going to be an or sign since it's
Yeah.
above 0. So yeah, thanks.
Oh man, I thought you were gonna get into it, but I hear you step by step. You know.
Also, you want me to solve it?
Yes, that would be beautiful. I think my beautiful viewers are like eager.
Okay. I didn't know that you want me to solve it.
Ah,
I
yo, I
thought
want
maybe
you
you
to
want
solve.
me
I
to just
want you
like
to solve it. I want you to
you want
solve
me
it.
to solve
Yo, I want you to solve it. That would be beautiful.
it. Let me try to see if I can't get something to write very quick
Okay.
and then try and see if I can do it.
Okay. So let's just give my amazing viewer there an opportunity to just get set up, and then we'll give him a chance. It's holidays, y'all. This is so funny. It's holidays, y'all, and you're doing maths. Yo, definitely. There are people who are going to be writing quite soon, so we have to be doing the maths.
Yeah, true. Mathematics is. Can you see my screen?
I'm sure we'll see it when you open it up.
Let me see.
I've actually put you on the main so that you can.
I'm trying to see camera. Then I say what save.
Yeah, then you just flip it over so that we can see the screen. There we go.
Okay.
Nice. I love the setup. It's very nice.
um, then what was the question?
So the question was 6x squared plus 7x
6x squared plus 7x
plus 2
plus 2
is greater than or equal to 0.
or equals to 0.
Yeah.
Okay. What I was saying is that I'll try to find the critical values,
Yes.
and when I find the critical values, I'll say 6x squared plus 7x plus 2 is equals to 0. Then apply a quadratic formula, which is x equals to negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus our 4ac over 2a. And then this will actually be a negative of 7 plus minus the square root of our 7 squared minus your 4 of 6 multiplied by 2 over our 2 multiplied by our a. And then we'll find our two values of x. Let me try to punch it on the calculator very quick and see if I can find them. Mathematics can be nice. And negative 1 over 2. So what I will actually do is to draw this. Okay, so this is what I was saying. I was saying that we are having our problem as 6x squared plus 7x plus 2, which is greater or equals to 0. And then what is it that we know? We know very well that this is like the graph of f of x, right?
Yeah.
So since it's like the graph of f of x in functions, they will actually give you your question as like find the values of x such that f of x is greater or equals to 0. So meaning that your f of x is this specific function that they have given you. So now just because they say f of x should be greater or equals to 0, they are trying to say find the values of x whereby your y values are positive. So meaning they are above 0. They start from 0 until positive infinity.
Mm.
So looking at our graph over here, we know very well that you can draw your Cartesian plane such that you'll have your y and also your x. So we are looking for where our y's are above 0. So where are they above 0? It will start from our negative half until positive infinity, and also from our negative 2 over 3 until negative infinity. So what is it that I like saying? I like saying that every time you have a happy face function like this, and then your your happy face function is greater or equals to 0, you must know that your graph is going to diverge. So diverging, I mean like your thing is going to move from this side until positive infinity, and also from this side until positive infinity. So meaning that x is actually going to be less than negative 2 over 3, or less or equals to. I think our question was greater or equals to. So less or equals to negative 2 over 3, or is going to be x is greater or equals to negative 1 over 2. But somebody can say, no, I don't want to answer my question as this form. That person can just say that x is going to be an element from what? From negative infinity until negative 2 over 3, and then you do your square bracket, or your x is going to be an element from your negative 1 over 2 until positive infinity. So you also have to understand that square brackets, it means equal, I mean greater or equals to. Actually, it means equals to. And then this um, circle bracket or whatever, it can actually means that greater or less than. It doesn't have the equal sign. So I think, yeah, that's how far I can go.
Wow, thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate that. Yo, thank you. So that
Sure,
was
sure.
very well done. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate. Yeah, that you were you were very quick there. You know, even though you were like, let me. You quickly said you're gonna grab your stuff, and you quickly had them handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see you are a soldier, always ready to engage in warfare. So thank you so much. That was really appreciated. Um, Dimpo, I have another method, sir. Okay. That's fine. If you have another method, Dimple, or what would you like to come on up and talk to us through? I think I'm going to actually stop right there at inequalities for today. Then tomorrow, I'll move on and we can explore others. Okay, let me just give Dimple a chance because Dimple is feeling matsy today.
How are you, everyone?
We are well, Jimbo, and how are you?
I'm good, sir. Actually, I did it on my own way, ne?
Okay, please do. Please help us. Yeah.
So I don't know whether is it correct or it's wrong.
No, let's see.
Okay. Maybe you can write it down, ne?
All right, I will.
Yeah. Open bracket.
Open brackets.
2x plus 1.
2x.
I try to factorize it first, ne?
Very sweet, very sweet. You can as well. You can factorize it, definitely.
Another bracket. 3x plus 2.
Okay.
It's greater or equal to 0.
Greater than or equal to 0.
Then after that, I said 2x plus 1, it's greater than 0.
All right. So you said 2x plus 1 is greater than
0.
0. Or
3x plus 2, it's greater than 0.
okay.
It's greater or equal to 0.
So for both, you said equal to 0.
Yes. Then after that, I said 2x is equal to minus 1.
So it's equal, not greater than. It's equal.
Yes. I said 2x is equal to minus 1.
Okay.
Then after that, I divided by 2 in order to get the value of x.
Okay, which is what? What's the answer? 2x, x is equal to what?
Is equal to minus 1 over 2.
Okay, x is equal to minus 1 over 2. All right.
Yes, on the other side, I said 3x or 3x. 3x is equal to minus 2. Then I divided by 3.
Okay, you divided by 3. So x is equal to negative 2 over 3 you got.
Yes. Okay. Then after that, I write I draw my graph.
Okay.
Then the x value, it's minus 1 over 2.
Negative half.
On the other side, it's minus 2 over 3.
Negative 2 over 3.
Yes. Then after that, I will make it short, ne?
No problem.
Then after that, I said x is an element. Then open those big brackets.
Okay.
Minus half.
Minus half. Minus half, sorry. Okay, x
yes,
is an
minus half.
Of minus half.
Comma minus 2 over 3.
Comma minus 2 over 3.
After that, you close that big bracket.
Like this?
Yes.
Okay. Are
so
you done?
I don't know whether is it correct or it's very wrong.
Okay, so let's just check a few things, Timpone. So your factorization is 100% correct. I love it. I love the fact that you are someone that can actually factorize advanced trinomials that have a coefficient that is greater than 1. You seem to have no problem in doing that. You can do that like very well.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Then we move on to this step. Now, this is a step that we ought to avoid this one.
All right.
Okay. You said 2x plus 1 is greater than or equal to 0, or 3x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 0. So the thing is, with inequalities, the minute we are solving a quadratic inequality, the first thing we want to either do is one of two things. After we have the inequality that's quadratic in standard form, we either factorize it, or if we can't factorize, we can use the quadratic formula to find what we call the critical values. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yeah. So this step, this one, it does not, it is an unwanted step, this one. All right.
All right, sir.
These two are fine if you can write this.
Oh,
there.
Mar, I forgot to tell you.
Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%.
So if you write CV for this step, then it's 100% fine,
Yes.
because what you are doing is you are taking the 2x plus 1 and you are trying to find, when you have equated this to 0, you are trying to find the critical value. So from here, it's fine if there's this here. If CV is there, then this is fine.
Yes.
Please, 100% fine if there's that. But if there's not that, then I don't understand what you are telling me about here. Does that make sense, Dimbo? Are you with me?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Then, if you have that CV, that's 100% fine. So this one is completely out. This that I've put in the, the rectangular, it's out. This one, we don't ever find yourself in these hot waters.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. But this here, if you take the respective bracket, you equate it to 0 to get the critical value for each bracket, that's 100% fine. But you need to have CV in there. Okay.
Yes.
Then this here, 100% fine. The drawing of the graph. But then let's just check something. When we draw this guy, it's very important that we write our critical values in the right order, right?
Yes.
So the smallest, the biggest.
Yes.
So who's big here, who's small? Because we need to start with the smallest, then the biggest needs to be this side.
Yeah. Minus 2/3.
Yeah, minus 2/3 should be here. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the order is important because we are dealing with the number line in other terms here. Okay.
Yeah.
So we would have our negative half this side and the negative 2/3 this side. Someone in the comment section is asking, how do you know that the graph is smiling? At the point where you have before you write your critical values, you look at the coefficient of the equation that we have. We try by all means to make sure before we factorize, the coefficient of x squared is actually positive. So then that allows us that when we write our critical values, we are writing our critical values from a place where the equation was actually what? Having a coefficient that is positive. Okay. So that's how we know it's smiley, face up, concave up. But the smallest critical value, the biggest critical value. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Then when we write the answer, Dimple, we need to write the answer in light of what we have as our inequality sign here. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is minus 2/3. It's greater than x. It's also greater than minus half.
Okay. So here in this, in the factorized form, you have the inequality sign being greater than or equal to 0. So once again, this greater than 0, what does it mean for the function that we have here? It means that it is above the x-axis.
Yes.
Yeah. So above the x-axis, Dimbo, is simply this region. This region and that region.
Yes.
So this region is where x is greater than negative half. This region is x is less than negative 2 over 3.
Yes.
Okay. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So when you write your answer, this here would be incorrect.
Yes, I supposed to start with minus 2 over 3. Ne?
Yes. Well, you see, the thing is, when you write your answer, you are going to say the value of x, the values of x that are on this side. The question is, are these values of x on this side of negative 2 over 3, are they less than negative 2 over 3? Or are they greater than negative 2 over 3? The values of x on this side of the number line.
Okay.
So this is negative 2 over 3. And we are saying our values of x should be the values of x on this side of negative 2 over 3. Okay. So what does that mean? These values of x, are these values of x on this side, are they less than negative 2 over 3 or are they greater than negative 2 over 3? Remember, this is a number line, right?
Yes.
All values on this side of negative 2 over 3 are greater, but all values on this side are less than this negative 2 over 3.
Which means the graph is supposed to go down. Is it possible?
What do you mean it's supposed to go down?
Because I have the negatives both sides.
Because you have the
negatives both sides on my axis.
Well, on your x-axis, you have these critical values. The critical value, negative 2 over 3, right? And then you have the critical value, negative half. Okay.
Yes.
So the values that you substitute here that will make the function be above the x-axis or will make this greater than 0 are the values of x that are less than negative 2 over 3. So in other words, the x values that are less than negative 2 over 3 or the x values that are greater than negative half.
All right. Okay. Now I get you, sir.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But then since there's equal as well, it means we're going to include negative 2 over 3. And we are also going to include negative half.
Yes.
Yeah. So when we say that greater than 0 means above the x-axis. Above the x-axis means this region. The region that is on this side of the critical value. All these values on this side are values less than negative 2 over 3.
Okay.
And then this region as well. This shows our function being above the x-axis. But which x values show our function being above the x-axis? It's all the values of x that are on this side of negative half. These are values that are greater than negative half.
Okay.
So you can write your answer then as x is less than or equal to negative 2 over 3 or x is greater than or equal to negative half. This is your way that you could write it in inequality form. Or you could say from negative infinity to negative 2 over 3.
Yes.
This side, we are coming from negative infinity, right?
Yes.
To what? To negative 2 over 3. From negative infinity to negative 2 over 3. Open negative infinity, because negative infinity is not a number. It's a concept that shows numbers go on forever in the negative direction.
Yes.
But then we include or we close bracket negative 2 over 3 because we include negative 2 over 3 as well as part of our answer.
Okay, so thank you so much. Now I have a clue.
Then we could say or from negative half to what? To positive infinity.
Yes.
From negative half to
To
positive infinity.
infinity.
Because from negative half to positive infinity represents these values of x that are greater than negative half. But we also include negative half because we said equal to 0 as well, which means on the x-axis.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you write your answer this way, that's fine. Or you could write your answer in interval notation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate.
You're very welcome, Dimbo. Yeah, you're very welcome. I don't know if there's any other questions you have right now.
Oh, for now, on my side, I'm clear.
Okay. Dimbo, you're doing grade 12, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you're writing trials very soon, eh?
Yes, Maine. And I'm shaking.
Yeah, no, I hear you, but like I said, you just need to take every day, like every single day. There needs to be something that you are doing towards the preparation for the mathematics. It's very important because yeah, I don't underestimate what you can do, the little bit that you can do each and every single day. Do something towards that trial because I know most grade 12s, some of you, man, I had a grade 12 learner just yesterday that was talking about we're talking about suicide, contemplating suicide because of the results that they got during the June exam. And yeah, they're like, hey, I want to give up on school and, all these other things. And
Yes.
just in my conversation with this learner, I was like, you studied 11 years. You've spent 11 years in school. And you want now, with the remaining few months of your school years, remaining few months, you have like a few months to go. You want to end it or you want to quit. Just as you're about to get to the end, I was like, no,
It's impossible.
I
But
corner, no, that's
But
unfair.
I don't have a stress with the other subjects. I'm perfect, 100%.
It's
The only
maths.
thing that is giving me a stress is mathematics.
Let's then, Dimbo. With that said, yeah, like I said, just let's do a little bit every single day. So I'll be on here now, like even tomorrow, and moving forward from 11 o'clock. Maybe I can join in at 10:30, but likely 11 to 12, and I'll just do a little bit of paper one. So for instance, today it was just solve for x. The first few questions, solve for x, where you have to factorize or where you have to use the zero factor law. We looked at how to solve for x when you have to use the quadratic formula. All right, that's what we did earlier on. These types of questions, quadratic formula type of questions, and then we looked at inequalities. So that's about as much as I did. So it would be nice then to sort of like, if anyone was here and they got something and they feel like there's something that they learned, then you need to just go and grab some past papers and you can start doing some of these exercises that are related to these types of problems. So that when I join or do the session tomorrow and I start looking at other questions like your surd equations, simultaneous equations, exponential sort of like equations type questions, and others, then we can be on the same page with that as well, and we can take it one step at a time. Like I said, for Eastern Cape learners, the Eastern Cape, we only have 58 days till you write maths paper one, and I'm counting down, like it's like every single day I'm like, we're marking it off. one less day. So we need to make sure that we are doing something with every day, because what you want is a situation where you write math paper one, and you feel a bit more confident and a bit more relaxed than you did when you were writing your June paper. Plus, you want to be on top of your game. You need to be better than you were when you were writing your June paper. Because I know most people, when they wrote June, they were like, yo, I say, ish, yeah. So we can't be ishing this time round, because at least we've been given a chance in June to write a full 150 paper. So we've kind of seen where we lack and where we feel less confident. So we just need to make sure that we still know what we know very well, and we can still do it very well. But where we still lack, or where we lack, we need to really just give it a little bit more effort. So, like Dimbo, for instance, if I can ask you off the bat, which question in paper one in June was kind of like a problem for you? Which section?
I don't want to talk about that question paper, ish. But I really tried with all my best.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there is a question. Which one? I think it's solve for X, but I'm not sure. You are struggling.
So once again, Dimbo, what I'm asking here is not so much the question. I'm asking which section of the work do you feel is a challenge for you? Like, so in paper one, you have algebra, which is question one. Your algebra type questions. Okay. Question one is usually 24 marks, 23 marks, give or take 22, 21. It just depends on the person that has set. But you're talking about a minimum of like 25 marks. Then you have number patterns. Number patterns follows that one. Sequence and series, Then you have functions,
Yes.
Then you have functions, all of your functions.
Yes.
Then you have financial maths, that you'll definitely be on board with come this trial exam. Then you have calculus, Then you have probability.
Calculus, ne?
Yeah, then you have probability.
It was calculus and number patterns.
You see, so that's what I mean. Now, it's important for you to know those, but then you must not avoid them. You see, the thing is,
So, and also paper
problem
2, yeah, it's giving us a big trouble, man.
I know paper 2 is
So I always prefer paper 1. Paper 2, yeah, it's a big problem.
giving you problems. I know that, but I know paper 1 but I mean, for now, you need to be able to take these papers one at a time, and you start looking at something every day. Because if you're going to try and look at everything all at once in your head, it's
Okay, so I will do that.
too much.
And thanks for your advice.
So if you can start now, that's what I'm saying is, if you start now addressing, then I can tell you, surely, Dimbo, when you write in September, it should be different. It should be a different vibe altogether.
And I trust you. I trust you because today, I learn a lot.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did.
For
I'm
me,
glad
it's a
that,
big
a lot of
compliment.
Okay. No, that's great. That's amazing. Then let's learn something every day, get your point, take it one step at a time. And yeah, we should definitely get somewhere, a better place than we were a few months or a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much as well. Really appreciate you. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Bye. Okay, guys, thank you so much, Mrs. Him. You've been very generous with the gifts. I really appreciate you. Like, yeah, um, gifts are a very foreign concept in my life, by the way. So you must know I really appreciate it when they do happen, and they happen quite vigorously, and you've been really pumping it in. So I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, Mrs. Him. Guys, I'm gonna end the live right here. So please, please do me a favor, make sure that these types of questions you are sorted. We have no problems. These types of questions, solve for x at the beginning, then solve for x where we are told to correct to a certain number of decimal places. You saw, guys, standard form, quadratic formula, substitution, calculator answer. Okay, we did 2 problems. We were led by people in the live. I didn't even do these. You saw how people went about doing these very well. Then we looked at inequalities. We looked at an inequality where there's the less than sign, 0, and we saw that, oh, the answer lies below. When it's less than 0, we are below the x-axis. The answer is always between. That's why I call these questions, I call them BB. Less than 0 means B. B stands for below. And then the other B means between the critical values. So BB, I call them BB. So if it's less than 0, the answer lies below and between the critical values. All right. Then when you have a critical value and it's greater than 0, I call these ones AA. Why do I call them AA? Because A stands for above the x-axis and then away from the critical values. The answers always lie away from the critical values, above. So if it's above, it's away. So it's always going to be x less than the smallest critical value, x greater than the biggest critical value. And I mean, guys, it's straightforward like that. I have found that actually helps me to remember very well. Okay, like I said, less than 0 just means below. Below the what? The x-axis. So the answer will lie between, BB, below and between. Okay, so that's why the x is in the middle, and then the critical values, you can see, guys. So the answer lies between these critical values. From -7 to 3, between, the answer lies between. But then if there's greater than, all right, where we factorized, then the greater than means above the x-axis, which means away from the critical values. That's why it will be x less than the smallest critical value, then x will be greater than the biggest critical value. And that's just how I remember. It makes it easier for me to remember. BB, that's less than. AA, that's greater than, right? And then we will continue tomorrow, guys. So let us just say tomorrow at what? Let's gun for 10:30 p.m. guys, because I only get back like to be able to do something, and it's quieter here in the house around about this time. So 10:30 p.m. and then we can take it up, maybe get to 12:30. That would be a good 2 hours. So you guys need to just prepare to have a 2-hour night of maths with me during those times, if you don't mind. And then yeah, we can just go through this one bit at a time. And I am obviously using trial papers from the different provinces. We looked at the Eastern Cape. That was coming from the Eastern Cape trial paper here, and then this one was coming from the Free State trial paper. So these questions that I did were not just questions, they were previous past question papers, based questions from previous trial papers that have been written. Okay, so guys, good night. It was nice having you. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, and thank you to everybody again. Mrs. Sim, thank you so much. I guess Elwin, I really appreciate you. Dimple, thank you, and thank you as well for having that conversation with me about papers and so forth. Int, thank you so much. Star Christy, I will post the video in my YouTube channel as well. The link is in my bio. Zenanda Ghetto, it was great. Liolo, Sandra, Tuso, Kaifas, Humzani, Zile, user 123246369, EZW2290, Menti, Utando Makubudela, Jonita, Junior, Noma Saseka, it was good. Nomfundo 7, Mandla, Meke, Young, Monobisi, Tetayo, Lawrence, Nelly, Nana, Oyama, Stargirl, it was good. Nicholas, Banzi, BRK, Katiana, Kyle Williams, Gege, CC, Lizzie, Long Life, T-Boss, Laz, the Mac, and Holochano. It was great, guys. I'll see you again tomorrow. This time, 10:30.